Hello, welcome to Moving Forward. Just how do you figure out a career anyway? During this PowerPoint, we hope to introduce you to some really fantastic tools that will help you to be able to figure out that question. My name is Tessa Wright. I'm a workforce development specialist with Workforce Alliance, your CareerLink affiliate in Wayne County. Our office is located in Honesdale. We work with adult dislocated workers and in and out of school youth. My job is primarily to work with youth in Wayne County, and I work with youth from ages of 14 to 24 years old. Provide all kinds of career counseling and guidance. We may be able to interest you to your first work experience or an on-the-job training or education or training for eligible applicants. We help educate youth on career paths, goal setting, professional behaviors, job market information, and other opportunities. Our staff include Helene Mancuso, who is the director, Karen Decker, another workforce development specialist who works primarily with the adult population, Melinda Judge, who is the workforce development assistant, and we frequently have a PA CareerLink representative in the office. Additionally, we receive regular visits from other agencies. It's not likely that we will figure out what you're going to end up doing for the rest of your life today. But the goal is to introduce you to tools that will keep you moving forward on your career path. Because once you graduate from high school, you're starting to figure out where you want to go for secondary education, or if you want to go for training, or if you want to move directly into your workforce. You're setting your foot on that career path, and we can help you figure out what direction you want to go in, and then maybe not what even your next step is, but your step beyond that and your step beyond that. First step. That's the trickiest one. There's an old saying about art, I don't know what's good, but I know what I like. I think it applies a lot to careers and jobs as well. First off, though, without having a lot of work experience, I think it's very hard for young people to figure out what you like and what you don't like. If you haven't experienced something, you don't really know if you like it or not. So for some of you out there, it can feel like it's too hard to narrow down. There's all the choices in the world. How do you choose from that? And for others, it seems that there's nothing out there that fits you. Luckily, in the next few slides, I'm going to show you different tools and assessments that really can help you narrow them down or introduce you to something that maybe sounds like you. In addition, you are going to get a lot of advice. People are going to tell you, go into this field, you'll make a lot of money, or go into that field because there'll always be job security. And maybe that is the right place for you. These are tools that can help you research those jobs, though, just to make sure it's a fit for you. A lot of people will tell you to do what you love. What I'm going to tell you is to find out what you're good at and do that. Because I'll tell you what, if you're good at something, you're going to enjoy doing it. The first website I want to introduce you to is called O-Net. You can see the link below in gray. O-Net is a phenomenal website that's put out by the federal government, and I cannot say enough good things about it. There's great assessments, job descriptions, and tools to research careers. My favorite thing about O-Net, though, is how in-depth it goes on the different jobs and careers that it has on their website. On the next page, I'm going to show you an example. Here is just the top part of the page for a wind turbine service technician. Now, if you look at Summary Report 4, it says Wind Turbine Service Technician. All the way to the right, in orange, you can see that it has a bright outlook. What that means is O-Net is telling you that there's going to be more jobs for wind turbine service technicians in the future than there are right now. And also right below that is that it's a green job, so that it's more environmentally friendly if that's something that interests you. So just below wind turbine service technicians, there's a brief definition. You inspect, diagnose, adjust, or repair wind turbines. Perform maintenance on wind turbine equipment, including resolving electrical, mechanical, and hydraulic malfunctions. Below that, there's different job titles that might be also for wind service. Turbine service technicians, I apologize. If you see the review of the report, it'll say summary, details, and custom. And then under that, you'll see tasks, and it'll have a list of tasks with a little plus sign below that. If you click on that plus line, it expands that list of tasks. And it does that for each section. And there are several sections. Tasks, technology skills, tools used, knowledge, skills, abilities, work activities, detailed work activities, work context, job zone, education, credentials, interest, work sites, values, wages and employment, job openings, and additional information. So when I say that the job descriptions in O-Net go really, really in depth, they really, really do. So why is this important and why am I making such a big deal out of it? I think that just being interested in a subject is one thing, but if you are very comfortable using a whole bunch of different kinds of technologies, O-Net can tell you that there are jobs out there that have that. Or if you're not, then maybe you want to avoid those jobs. If you feel like you need to be in a job where you're interacting with people, you can find that out on O-Net. Or if you're not really comfortable with that. If you have a job where you're going to be able to travel a lot, or you won't. O-Net has information on all of that. So I think when you're trying to narrow down what field you want to go in, this is just another way to help you add things in the pro or con column for different careers that you're researching. The websites I want to talk about are PA CareerLink. PA CareerLink is the state's job search site and offers links to all kinds of resources. And I have a link to it there, and we'll take a look at the page on the next slide. And the second is PA Career Zone, and it's where you can make an account, and it'll be your own account. You take your assessments, it saves your answers. You can learn about financial literacy and explore careers. PA CareerLink. PA CareerLink is a phenomenal website put out by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's primarily the state's job search site, and well, we're not looking at that right now. I will tell you it's an amazing job search site with amazing filters so that you can do a really meaningful job search, which I think is very important. But if you take a look at this screen, and this is what the link goes to, is the online tools and resources. And you can see that there's a ton of different resources here. What I really want you to focus on are the job exploration and the occupation profiles and career exploration links, because they have some really, really great assessments, and the occupation profiles are really cool. There's some videos in there, so I definitely think that you should explore all of those. The career exploration will also link you to the next webpage that we're going to look at. The other thing I want to show you is you can see up there with what it looks like it has a soccer ball over it is the skill assessment. That's a really great tool where you can put in the skills that you've learned, whether you just had a high school job or a college job, maybe in retail or in food service, but you're learning maybe customer service skills and those sorts of things. You can put those skills in there and it'll tell you maybe what different fields you can transition to. So I think that's also a really neat tool. Maybe there's some things that you've learned on a job that you really like about that job, even if you don't want to stay in that particular field. It can kind of help lead you to where you might want to go next. Page you can see the Pennsylvania Career Zone. Very cool, and you can do a whole bunch of different assessments on here, and learn your Holland code if you don't know it. And one of the things I really, really like is the financial literacy piece, where you answer questions about what kind of lifestyle you want to live, what kind of car you plan to have someday, what kind of house you want, living arrangements, whether you plan to go out to eat all the time or stay at home. And then it'll tell you how much money that you're going to need to make in order to support the lifestyle that you want. And I think that's a great thing too, because it'll help you do the research for different careers and help you to know, is this career that I want going to be able to support the life I want to have someday? The last website I want to talk about is called Minnesota State CareerWise. This website is really neat because of the piece that it has on the career clusters assessment and the information for career clusters. So career clusters are where you can take different fields. So you could have government, or you could have education, or you can have, I think there's a construction field. There's different career clusters, and then it breaks those down, and you can kind of see where you fit within those. So instead of looking at a single specific career, you could look at just all of healthcare, and then it breaks down different healthcare options. So we have national security, which is under the government career pathway. And the really cool thing about this is it'll tell you what you can do in national security with just a high school diploma, with less than a year of school or training, with 1 to 3 years of school or training, with a bachelor's degree, or with an advanced degree. So you can see in this particular field, you could be working in this field all the way from high school. And, if you want to stop at a radar and sonar technician, you can. And it'll tell you, and then you can go back to ONET and you can put in radar and sonar technician and find out exactly what you would be doing. This is kind of how these work sites, these different sites can work together to help you garner a lot of really, really good information about what you want to do someday. Okay, what now? You've looked at the websites, you have some possible options, you think they're really cool, you're just not sure where to go from now. Well, as a young person, there's several things that you can do. You can job shadow. You can interview people in your field of interest. You can talk to colleges, universities, and other training schools about their programs. You can volunteer in your field, or you can join clubs or professional organizations as a junior member. In my office, we would be happy to facilitate doing any of those things. I do want to take a little extra second to talk about volunteering. Well, first, let me talk about job shadowing. I'm sorry. If you're not sure what job shadowing is, that's where you get the opportunity to spend the day or even longer with somebody who's doing the job that you're interested in and see what their average day looks like. And there's a lot of professionals who are more than happy to have young people come in and talk to them about their career path and the steps that they took to get the career that they have right now. Okay, so back to volunteering. Volunteering is a really, really great way to experience a job that you're interested in. It's a great way to get experience in the field that you want to go in without actually needing to get hired in that field. And it's also a really phenomenal way to network and to get references from people in that field. So if you've never thought about volunteering before, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it, because it is just a great way to try on careers and to meet people in those fields. So as we discussed, there's many ways to try on a career and see how it fits. Once you have direction, find out the type and how much of education you may need to do what you're interested in. Again, the career clusters page from Minnesota CareerWise may be helpful with that, or ONET, of course. And then look into where you can do what you're interested in. Now, why do I make a point about the where you can do that? I've worked with young people in higher education and in career development for over 10 years. I myself made mistakes in pursuing education and careers, thinking about what I wanted to do, but I didn't think about where I could do those things. So I'll do two examples. The first one I'll use myself. I thought that I wanted to be a high school English teacher because I liked to read and I liked to tutor, so it seemed like a no-brainer. I went through 2 years of higher education. I was entering my junior year in college. They finally sent me out to observe a class, and lo and behold, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was not something that I wanted to do. It wasn't the right fit for me. So I changed and I became just an English major. And my advisor said, "You can go into publishing and editing, and you'd be great at that, and you'll love it." And I said, "Okay," and I didn't look into it at all. So I graduated with an English degree from around here. I grew up in Wyoming County. I'm a country girl. And I started looking for jobs in editing and publishing. There was one job when I graduated from college in editing and publishing in the area. And that was at Highlights Magazine, believe it or not. And I did not get that job. So, what's a girl to do? Well, I could have moved to New York City, but I am not a city girl. And I didn't really have the finances to move to New York City. Or I could have moved to the West Coast, but I couldn't really afford that either, and I didn't particularly want to. So I was kind of stuck, and it took me a long time to find my niche, which I did. I love career development, and I love working with young people. So I ended up where I started a long time ago, but I hadn't done any research, and so my path took a lot of squirrely turns. So just think about that. The other thing I'll mention is earlier in a slide you saw wind turbine technician. Very cool career, very cool path, growing field, lots of jobs there, but not locally. I know that we have wind turbines, we have the Waymar wind farm, but there's only a limited amount of jobs locally for wind turbine technician. So if that's something that you were thinking about and going into, you have to know that you won't be able to do that locally. So that's the one piece I have to say about environment. The other thing is, and why I make such a big deal about researching these careers and going in depth, like on ONET, is that you want to think about the environment that you're in and the company culture and the people that you're around when you're doing your job. So if you don't want to be surrounded by people all day, then maybe that's not a good environment for you. I tell a story about a nurse who is very good at being a nurse, and she went through school and she was a star pupil and she loved being a nurse, but she gets anxious in very busy environments. So if her first job is in a busy urban ER, she's probably not going to love being a nurse. Long story short, or long story long, as it were, think about the environment that you'll be in when you pick your career. So the next 2 pages are just kind of a way that I put together that maybe you can organize all of this new information that you're getting about careers. So you can see there's a career exploration box. You can pick different careers. You can narrow it down, and then you can look at if you need education or training for it and how much, where you can get it, because that's also kind of folds into the environment. Can I get training locally? Do I need to go further away for training? And then the environment. Is it local? Are there companies around here that are hiring? Is this a field that's going to be around 10 years from now? Will I still have a job 10 years from now? And the next page breaks it down a little bit more. Can I do job shadowing and internship? Are there networking opportunities? If I pick education and training, what do I need to do for that? Do I need to apply for a FAFSA? Do I need to apply for scholarships? And then lastly, here are just a few things that you would want to look at while you're in training or now to prepare for your career. Definitely a resume, a cover letter. I'd be more than happy to do a mock interview. I definitely recommend doing mock interviews. If nothing else, it gets the jitters out. You get to practice some of your answers. And then looking at professional references and how you pick a professional reference, how you conduct a meaningful job search so that you're not just seeing jobs that aren't applicable to you. And then what other skills do you need? Obviously, I have down leadership, time management, task management, but these are by no means exhaustive, but these are skills that employers look for. So how do you get those skills? How do you translate that to a resume or a cover letter? These are all things I would be happy to talk to you about, and they're all things that I want you to think about as you're looking for a job. What skills do I need? Where do I get those skills? And good luck. It's a fun process, and you should definitely think of it that way, as a fun process. Don't let it stress you out. People go into careers, they try them out. Sometimes they move, sometimes they go up the ladder, sometimes they step sideways and say, well, I'm on this path, but I can see that path over there and that looks interesting. I'm going to step over there and try that path out. Sometimes they change completely and do something else completely, and that's okay. You have the tools now to figure out what the steps you need to take in order to be successful on those paths, or even if you want to go down those paths. If you have any questions, if you need any help, please feel free to contact me. I hope that you enjoyed this today, and I hope that it helps you. Bye.